The mother-in-law suspected her daughter-in-law of cheating. She secretly replaced the lubricant in the bedside drawer with super glue. Then she told her daughter-in-law she was going to the bank. She created an opportunity for the daughter-in-law and her lover to have an affair. She thought they would surely regret it once they used the glue. What she didn't know was that the mother-in-law's actions had already been seen by the daughter-in-law through surveillance footage. Doing this would only ruin her son, because it was her son who was actually unfaithful. The daughter-in-law deliberately used her mother-in-law's hands to make her husband pay a painful price. It turned out the woman was a reborn soul. In her past life, she had accidentally caught her celebrity husband cheating with her best friend Lisa. Angry, she intended to expose their scandal. Instead, she was knocked unconscious and photos were taken. They deliberately framed the woman for infidelity. The incident quickly made headlines. The woman repeatedly complained to her mother-in-law about her husband's wrongdoing, but the mother-in-law did not believe her. She firmly believed the woman had cheated and was framing her son. She even drove the woman out of the house. The woman was hounded by major media outlets. She suffered intense online harassment and fell into depression. In the end, she died from illness consumed by endless humiliation and resentment. When the woman opened her eyes again, she had been reborn 3 days before she witnessed her husband and Lisa having an affair. In this life, she would never repeat the mistakes of her previous life. She would not only ruin the two's reputations, but also make them pay a painful price. She deliberately took out a bottle of lubricant and a bottle of super glue, and put on a furtive demeanor. After seeing the woman's suspicious behavior, the mother-in-law immediately remembered what her son had told her earlier. Her son would be going on a business trip next week. He told his mother to keep an eye on his wife. He also said his wife might cheat. The mother-in-law believed the woman would take advantage of the son's business trip to have an affair. She mixed the super glue into the lubricant. She told the woman she was going to the bank today, and would be back very late. Thinking that if the woman really dared to cheat, getting stuck together by the super glue would be retribution. The mother-in-law didn't realize her son's business trip was a lie. In fact, he had secretly brought Lisa home. The woman saw the scene via hidden surveillance. Thinking back to her previous life, every time her Lisa came to the house, the woman had mistaken Lisa's visits as being to see her. She hadn't expected that these visits were a cover for their affair. Sure enough, the man habitually took the lubricant out of the bedside drawer again. Soon the two were glued together by the super glue. To prevent the woman from discovering this embarrassing scene, the man immediately called the woman. He lied that there had been a break-in and it was unsafe, telling her not to come back. The woman outwardly agreed. Then she called her mother-in-law. Using ambiguous words, she aroused the mother-in-law's suspicion. She claimed there was a temporary problem at home, telling the mother-in-law not to return yet. The mother-in-law asked what had happened at home, but the woman hesitated and didn't answer directly. The mother-in-law believed that the woman must have brought her lover home to have an affair. She thought that once they used the lubricant mixed with superglue they would be unable to separate. She rushed back home, determined to catch them in the act. Not long after she entered the door, strange sounds came from inside the room. Lisa told the man to be gentler, otherwise she would be in a lot of pain. The mother-in-law mistakenly thought the one having the affair was her daughter-in-law. She was about to go in to catch them. Then she had a change of thought. This was a good opportunity to force the woman to leave empty-handed. She immediately contacted multiple media outlets, claiming she was the mother of a famous singer, saying there was an epic news story at her home today, and inviting the media to come and broadcast live. The mother-in-law spent half an hour calling the media. Soon a crowd of media and neighbors arrived on the scene. Then the mother-in-law began to cry and tell her story in front of the cameras. She claimed that she and her son had treated the daughter-in-law so well, yet the daughter-in-law had brought her lover home to cheat. Hearing the mother-in-law say this, the crowd was indignant and wanted to help her get justice. At this moment the two inside noticed the commotion outside. They were both very worried that if this got exposed, the man would definitely be blacklisted in the entertainment industry. Lisa also feared that her husband, a Muay Thai coach, would beat her to death. They noticed the rubbing alcohol on the table, but the rubbing alcohol not only failed to separate them, it instead caused them to utter even more miserable cries. Hearing that there truly was a man and a woman inside, as if they were engaged in very intense activity, the mother-in-law declared she would open the door right now, so everyone could see what the two inside were doing. The man immediately locked the room from the inside. Then Lisa came up with an idea. Since the mother-in-law mistakenly believed the daughter-in-law was in the room, if the man could prove his identity, everyone would think it was just a misunderstanding. The man immediately called out, "Mom," saying he was in the room. Hearing the man's voice, the media thought the mother-in-law was playing a prank for attention. The mother-in-law remembered her son had said he was going on a week-long business trip, and believed it was impossible for him to be home now. She also said that this must be the daughter-in-law staging the scene to clear suspicion, and deliberately had her lover impersonate her son's voice. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. She immediately decided to barge in with the media.